and a very good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to all of you for the talk on writing a research paper along with patent for PG students. So everyone involved in research field aims to get their work published in some of the best of the journals. But your research can be taken a step forward by commercializing it, by licensing, or rooted through startup by getting it patented. And in today's talk, we have Mr. Ravi Pandey, who will throw some light on this aspect often missed by the researchers. Mr. Ravi Pandey is managing IP and technology at SIIC IIT Kanpur. He's one who formulated policy framework related to IPR and entrepreneurship for several organizations like IIT Kanpur, IIT Jammu, Jharkhand and West Bengal government, etc. He has facilitated filing of more than 500 patents and licensing of more than 50 patents to industry partners. So we welcome you, sir. And I think we can begin. It's already 4. And the discussion, the interaction and discussion time will be provided by the end of this session. So everyone is requested to type in the chat box or raise your hands during the discussion are provided by the end of this talk. And please keep your mics and videos off all the time during the talk. So you can begin.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you so much for inviting me for the society and giving me an opportunity to talk to material students. I see right now a lot of students apart from material sciences as well. And it's a good opportunity for me to interact with students. And eventually it will lead in the increment in the portfolio of IPR at IIT Kanpur. So I'm not only thankful to you, but also thankful to Professor Balani for giving me this opportunity. Generally, every year I take a course on mechanical engineering department. So this is kind of a first instance where I'll be taking classes, a short session with PG students. So the today's topic is research paper along with a patent for PG students. So this is a very good opportunity for PG students to, whenever they graduate and do their doctoral studies and they are done with it, they should always, along with research papers, they should always go for a patent as well. So I'll be talking in the next 45 minutes. I have broken this 1 hour session into 45 minutes plus 15 minutes. So this remaining 50 minutes will be used for the question Q&A answers session. And in this 45 minutes, I'll be talking about the nuances of patent filing and technology transfer and the logical conclusion behind this. So all the students are currently engaged with PhD or MTech or some other master's course or integrated course. But I have to tell you about your seniors who have done this course and have filed some patents. They have done it very well, and I expect that you will be doing much more better than your seniors. So in the start, I have quoted few examples that your seniors have done from PhD, core sciences, application sciences, design department, MDes or PhD in design. So not only they have filed the patent, they have translated it, and the translation part went very well. And if I have to talk about the translation part, it went to the licensing, not only to the licensing, but also they have opened their own entrepreneurship, they have opened their own startup. So if you are only aiming towards an academic job, being an academician, then it's a good opportunity to have a patent as well. And if I have to quote you a few successful examples of having an advantage of having a patent along with a research paper, you can just talk to any of your seniors from IIT Jammu. And these guys, all these 5 faculty members the last year who have been recruited by IIT Jammu, the only difference was along with their research papers, they had some patents as well. So an application part in basic sciences is a new trend which is coming nowadays. And even these high impact journals like Cell and Nature, they are also keen on finding application part of a research. So you can clearly infer from this that reproducibility is the major outcome which these even journals and the industry is expecting from us. And we being a PG student or a research scholar, it becomes our responsibility towards science to contribute something which can contribute towards the society as well. So I'll be showing you some few examples as successful examples at IIT Kanpur. I'll be talking about Dr. Sandeep Patil. Dr. Sandeep Patil graduated in 2013 from Chemical Engineering Department. He had a major in nanosciences, nanofabrication of fibers, and initially he has developed a machine where reverse engineering was also part of it. Later on, he moved on not only to the exact machine but also to a N95 and N99 mask. So you can see clearly an accomplishment from that research paper to that patent, which is eventually leading to this mask. So initially he has fabricated some layers of fibers which were used for filtration, nanoscale filtration. Later on, he realized that this application could be utilized in N95 mask or N99 mask, where the capability of filtering this mask can go up to a COVID-19, that is 100 nanometer to 300 nanometer. So that was a clear accomplishment from this student. So had it been a case where he would have only imagined about a research paper, then this accomplishment of 30,000 masks per day, which is being manufactured nowadays within the campus, within the vicinity of IIT Kanpur, this could not have been possible. So you can imagine, I clearly foresee a Sandeep Patil in all of you. So I request, along with your research paper, please do plan for these patent applications. The patent application process is quite simple. You can simply go to siicincubator.com/IPR. Later on in the chat box, I'll be sharing the link and the disclosure form as well. You all can go through it. And in the meanwhile, if you feel any difficulty in filling the disclosure form, you can always come back to me. We can have a Zoom call, since current pandemic outbreak doesn't allow a one-to-one interaction. So a Zoom call or any other medium would be the best case to figure out a possibility of having a patent or a design or a copyright or any possibility of a trademark. Yes, even trademark is possible for inventions that I will be talking about in the next 3 or 4 slides. Then I always quote this, another example of a design. This is particularly for design students. There's a myth among the research community. They have a myth that patent filing is always better than a design patent, and patent is better than a copyright. So this student, he has done his MDes, then further he has done his PhD in design. He he went to a school and found out that the students do not have the privilege to have table and chairs. Later on, he devised a simple bag which can be embedded with a table and can be retrofitted and can be dismantled very easily and carried away by the students. And the cost part was so cost effective. So he has filed a design registration for this, and rest is a history. He has sold this company, ProSoc Innovator, which is a spin out. He has sold some around 2 lakh units. So if Ishan can do it, you all can do it. You can convert your research papers in a patent, and further in translation from TRL1 to TRL9 can easily be done by all the students. Another success story from IIT Kanpur is a project umbrella. Often we as a technocrat or having a technical expertise do assume that we can only contribute towards the technical part of the inventions. So that is another myth from the research community. If you see this, a team from design department consisting of a lot of students, Mitali, Sachin, NP, Sneha, and Apurva, all of them along with a faculty member, Dr. Jhumki Iyengar, they went to villages and found out that child sexual abuse is another issue. But this was not part of their research topic or the PhD topic that they have taken. But still, they went ahead. They found out a problem statement that this is happening. They went to high class society, middle class, and everyone was refusing that this happens to the other classes only. Eventually, they come up with a solution where a set of card, kits, music, videos, and entire kit has been developed. Later on, this entire kit was copyrighted. Yes, and this it was licensed to child um, uh, the center of the National Center for Child and Women, Delhi, and it has been distributed to n number of colleges. So it is not necessary that our invention must provide some licensing revenue out of it. If it has a social impact, then also it also makes a very good logical conclusion. So I have quoted all these 3 examples just to make you apprised that look, there is no end to any invention. If you are from technical side, you can always go to social side. If you are from social side, you can always go to technical side. uh, don't assume that patent is always the best. There is always an option of having a design, a copyright, a trademark. And yes, softwares do not come under the category of patents. As per the Indian legislation, they come under the purview of softwares, and all these Microsoft MS Office, Windows, they have been copyrighted in India. And the other myth is that there is a global registration required for these IPRs. So that is also another myth, because these IPRs are basically jurisdictional. If you have a patent in India, you can only enjoy the rights in India, that too for a specific period of 20 years. So in the from next page onwards, I'll be talking about the details, how it can be done, how it has been done, how some figure out how we have done, what are the yes and what are the no with the existing, how whether an invention is patentable or not. So this is also an accomplishment I still feel, because in the past 6 months, the students, the PhD students have developed a lot of inventions within the IIT Kanpur only. And the problem statement only arrived in March 2020. So you can imagine what was the time frame which was given to students, but still they came up with a solution, and these solutions were filed as a patent. So these inventions that you see in front of you have been invented by some student along with faculty member, along with other technical collaborators. So yes, there is no end to time frame. If you still feel that you can do it, you can please proceed ahead. Apart from your domain, it's not necessary that whatever the research that you are doing, you should come out with a solution in that domain only. You can go to intra domain, you can go to different trade of your study. If you are from material, you can always go to mechanical. And these funding agencies, these scientific bodies, they are basically promoting intra research from PhD scholars. So it's a day has come where there's no boundary for a material science student or for a biological science student to remain focused with his or her own domain only. So these are the prime examples which have come up in past 6 months. And yes, these are medtech innovations. So why I quoted this example, if you see, these problem statements were outcome of a collaboration between a medical college and engineering students. So yes, we have done a summer internship where doctors have given problem statements, and engineers from IIT Kanpur. When I say engineers, these are basically MTech or PhD students or BTech students who have devised a solution to that problem statement. So there is something, if you see my cursor, it is basically artificial liver, then there is artificial heart wall, then there is a sensing arm, then there is a sensor which can breathe and find out and trace out the diseases that you're suffering from within no time, within real time. So all these solutions have been developed from a problem statement. So it was a outcome of a collaboration from basically a clinician and an engineer. So yes, there is no restriction for an engineer to collaborate with a clinician or a doctor. So you yourself can do it very well. You can go beyond IIT Kanpur. You can always take help from your guide or mentor. He would certainly help you. And in case if you feel you need any further help from SIIC IIT Kanpur or the IPR cell, we are always available at for your help. You can just ping an email, and we are always good to go ahead and collaborate. Now, why research paper and why a patent along with a research paper? So there is a mandate to have some research papers after you have done your coursework, you have done your state of art. Now you have to go ahead and proceed, and you have to file some research paper. Now research paper may include a discovery and may include an application, while on the contrary, patent must have only application. So patent requires a novelty. It should be novel. Patent must have an inventive step. One cannot say that I went to my window 3 in the morning and just found a falling star, so it could be patented. No, that is not the case. You must clarify on paper that you have done substantial amount of input. Then only this invention came out. And the third and the most uh, important part of patent application is it must show some industrial application. So if you have invented something which is only useful to you, it cannot be patented, as simple as possible. Again, on the research paper side, it provides you academic progression, a research perspective. You can go further for further studies, postdoctoral studies, or further research into CROs or to private research organization, or as a scientist in different public and private organizations, and you can become a faculty member as well. But on the contrary, patent application, the main objective of having a patent is commercialization. There's a myth among the research community that patent filing and grant of a patent is an accomplishment, which is not the case. You must, so it must be licensed to a company, it must be commercialized, some revenue must be generated. That's the logical conclusion and ultimate objective of having a patent application. So patent application is a tedious process. I mean, it takes 48 months for a patent to be granted, and within the internal the entire process of filing a patent, it takes somewhere around 30 days from the day of submission of your disclosure form to the number of patent number application that you get from the patent office. So we start from the disclosure form and we provide end to end till the grant of the certificate. What I request from all the students, that do remember, never ever publish your research paper or any public disclosure before the patent application is being filed. The moment you file your patent application and further then you come to us that, sir, we want to file a patent application, then your own research paper or research publication becomes a part of a prior art. So prior art basically is nothing but a public information which is found before the filing of a patent. So what a patent examiner does, he always searches on internet or through offline mode whether the filed or the claimed part of the invention as a patent was existing in public domain as a public information or not. So if you say, sir, it was my own patent, I have done it, that doesn't qualifies or provides you a privilege to file a patent. Then your own publication becomes a prior art for you. So I'll be talking about what is non-patentables. The main Bible of IPR or patent is Indian Patent Act 1970. Section 3 of the Indian Patent Act 1970 clearly tells us what is patentable and what is not. So all of you are scientific students, science students, engineering students, you must understand what is natural or what is scientific law. There are laws of thermodynamics, and there are laws which are being given by Newton. Then there are other scientific laws. So one cannot challenge those laws. If your paper or if your research is giving you an inference that so and so existing law was not applicable and it was giving a non-validated result and it was giving a faulty result, then that cannot be filed as a patent. Now a lot of questions must be arising within the students. So, sir, how come you are saying this fact? So why I'm saying engineering students must be understanding when I say a machine which is perpetual in motion. Have you ever heard about a machine which is perpetual? So that is not possible because energy cannot be created, cannot be discarded. I mean, so it can be transformed from one form to another. So that's the main thing. So if someone brings an invention which is perpetual in motion, that means you have just rolled a wheel and it keeps on rolling for the unlimited period of time. That's perpetual. So that cannot be filed as a patent. Why? The reason, because it is not coming in line with the law of thermodynamics, where the energy transformation is from one form of energy to another. Now here, no energy transformation is happening. Perpetual motion is happening. So free energy, perpetual motion, these are a strict no-no. Then again, something which is abstract theory or discovery, or you have found something, so you have brought something, sir, it was already existing, I brought and enhanced the efficacy of a process or a machine, then again it is not patentable. Why? Because bringing something, a new advantage of an existing product or a process, that can easily be done by a person who is very much skilled in a particular art. So patent examiner always looks after that fact whether you are particularly skilled in that particular art or not. Then again, one more thing that comes out is a mere admixture or arrangement or rearrangement of known devices or not. So what you have done, you have basically taken out your pen and you have clubbed it with your mobile phone. Now this phone and pen embodiment or conglomeration cannot be qualified as a patent. Why? Because these two inventions have already been filed as a patent. Now both these two patents are working as an invention independently. So conglomeration, arrangement, dearrangement, mixing of existing components working already working independently cannot be filed as a patent. So this section 3 of the Indian Patent Act clearly tells you what is patentable and what is not. So the first criteria of filing a patent is patentability. So entire this section 3 talks about the patentability. Afterwards, it comes out the novelty, inventive step, and the cell application. So if I were to talk about the basic criteria of filing a patent, whenever a student or PhD scholar is in a dilemma, sir, whether it could be filed or not, do not take all the decisions at your discretion. Please do take help from some professional like us. Please do send us an email, an abstract of 300 words or 400 words. We will do the prior art search. We do have the high-end paid databases which can do and uh, which can provide a very good quality prior art search reports, not only online but offline as well. And we can provide you a novelty or a patentability report for these inventions. If you ever feel that this invention is not falling under the jurisdiction of patenting, then we will find out and figure out whether it is possible to have a design patent or a trademark or a copyright or some other invention like industrial IC layout, integrated circuit layout could be a possibility. So there are a lot of 6, 7 domains that I'll be talking about that. So how it happens after the SOTA, there are always a research paper being written by a PhD student along with a faculty member. The only the major mistake that the students do, they publish their invention before filing a patent. So the moment you file your publication before filing of your patent, your chances of filing a patent they get easily right sized. Then there is no remedy, then there is no option in filing a patent after a publication is in public domain. I still recall 6 months back, a PhD student from aerospace engineering department. He was in a hurry to give a joining to so and so organization. He has done the publication without informing his faculty member or the guide. And later on, during these searches, the databases take out all the publication that are there in public domain. So it was decided that it is immaterial to file a patent application further. So you can imagine a small mistake could lead. I mean, on the contrary, if you could wait for another 15 days or 30 days of your time, because generally you take years of your time in developing an invention or doing some research in collecting data and collecting data sets. And further, you go ahead and write a paper which takes months and months of time. And sometimes it happens that the initial submission to final submission, the time overall taken is somewhere around 6 months or 7 months. So what we request you, the moment you start thinking about having a publication, please do send us an abstract, find out the application part, do approach us. There are a lot of students currently I see in the list who have done their patent application along with the research paper. So the disclosure form can be filed in a 2 days time or a 3 days of time, and further rest regarding the patentability search report and the prior art search report will be provided by us. I would like to quote a case study of underestimating a patent application. It is about a lady who, during her, when this lady Catherine Hettinger was pursuing PhD in USA. It was in 1993. She decided that she will file a patent. And in the initial pages, I just mentioned that do not restrict yourself to the domain of the invention that you are working on. You can go beyond your domain, beyond your course, beyond your sciences or socials restrictions and file an invention. So Catherine Hettinger basically invented something and filed a patent for that. And this patent is basically about a toy, which toy is basically a fidget, which was granted in 1997. So being a PhD student, she had some money with her as a pocket money. She had filed that patent, and later on over the period of time, she when she graduated as a PhD student, she went to a toy making company, Hasbro. They mocked her in front of everyone. They simply said, look, it's just a useless crap thing. What have you brought me here? So I always suggest all the students, don't go this way of once bitten twice shy. Just think and just let it go, all these things like mocking and other things. So the patent, she didn't had 400 US dollars, so to pay as the annuity fee of the patent or the patent maintenance fee. The patent got lapsed in 2005. So the main logical conclusion behind sharing this case study is, you see, had it been a case where Catherine would have paid 400 US dollars, the overall uh, fidget industry was 19 million units were sold in 2006 onwards or 2007 onwards. So had it been a case where she would have paid $400, a 10% stake of 90 billion comes out to be 9 billion. And in the worst case scenario, if it is 5%, so she would have gained this much amount of revenue from the hard work that she has translated in the form of a toy, a fabrication part, or the translation part, or the pitching effort that she has done. So never underestimate your research, never underestimate something. Always try to find out what are the application part of your invention. Always try to find out what could be done as an application for this. There is always a possibility of gaining something out of your invention. As in the earlier slides, I have shown several students, PhD students like you or MTech students like you have done it. They have not only licensed these technologies, but have also opened startup companies on their own. So I'll be talking about in the next 2 minutes about the different prospects of IPR. I will cover up this slide as fast as possible because time is not on our side. So as I've already discussed, product and process can be filed as a patent. So patent is one of the important prospects of IPR. It is basically jurisdictional. All these IPRs are jurisdictional. What you need is basically novel. The invention must be novel. No one has done that sort of product or process earlier before you have invented. Inventiveness has to be there. You have done some contribution in the development of the invention. You just can't say that it abruptly came out. So whatever abruptly came out becomes a part of a discovery. So discovery is applicable to research papers, not to patent. So novelty, inventiveness, industrial applicability, all three together make part of a patent application. Then these make you eligible to file as a patent. So the term for patent application is 20 years, but looking at the current rate of which the life cycle is moving fast and fast, if you recall the earlier mobile phones that were very bulky and huge, nowadays very compact and very small mobile phones are coming out in the market. So the mobile model that you see right now, in the next 2 years, they become outdated. So similar is the case with the technology life cycle. So the current technology life cycle is 13 months, not years. So what we generally do, we take care of it for the initial 6 years. If the inventors do support, we take it to the 20 years. So in the rarest case nowadays, the technology is being utilized for 20 years. Now in the fast moving world, the technology life cycle has reduced substantially. Another IPR prospects that you can plan of along with your research paper is a design protection of a product. A lot of students within this COVID pandemic outbreak, they came up with a lot of solutions, like solution in the form of compact box that can be used by these grocery store where exchange of currency could be done or exchange of articles or grocery could be done. There are a lot of design aesthetic inventions have come up. So these design aesthetic inventions do fall under the category of design registration. What they require is aesthetic protection and industrial use. So they do not contain any application part or the functionality part. So for functionality, you need to go towards the patent, not the design. So if a single criteria, segregation criteria, if you see water Milton bottles in your home, if you go to your fridge and find out the water Milton bottle, at the base of that bottle, you will find a 6-digit design registration number. Why? Because there is a specific design or aesthetics of a Milton water bottle, which gives a clear segregation whether it belongs to Milton or to some other local company or to some other branded company. If you see a Coca-Cola bottle, a soft drink company bottle, you can clearly infer it out whether it is a Coca-Cola, irrespective of the fact whether Coca-Cola has been written out of it or not. So these are the segregation, these have industrial applicability. If you find out the initial applicability, these companies or industrial partners for the later translational part or the higher TRL scale work, they come to us and they find out what is the industrial application for this. And from the nascent phase, to the TRL9 phase, they take it out and they have a better assembly section. If you compare a lab scale assembly section to an industrial scale assembly section, these two things are completely different. The time taken by a lab scale assembly line or a lab development of an invention, it would take years and years of time for an industrial body to adopt such type of manufacturing. So they have a completely different, where R&D has been segregated to the assembly line, and how things work out. They have bill of materials, they segregate things, they find out what invention could be retrofitted, could be modified. There's a separate set of team. So there are a lot of things which are involved. So our responsibility is to find out the validation part. Yes, industry is only interested for the technology which has been validated. So patent filing is not the end of the game. You need to validate, you need to give results or data which provides a validation result. Sometimes you'll have to give comparatives as well. Look, sir, our invention was this way, other inventions having similar product based on those technology are giving lesser or inferior results in terms of the data. So these data sets could also be utilized and filed as a part of your patent application. So you can imagine what your research paper can do and what your patent application. Filing a research paper is always advantageous for academic, I mean, for a PhD student, but along with a research paper, we always prefer and suggest students to go for a patent application or a design as well. So trademark, I would not elaborate much on trademark. You all know how a trademark looks like. The terminology is 10 years. Then there's a trade secret. Again, I would not elaborate much time on this. Copyright for softwares in Indian jurisdiction fall under the category software, source code, and algorithm fall in the category of copyright. So the term for copyright is 60-year life of author, and after his death, 60 more years are given for a copyright. So yes, source code, mobile application, website content, and these software, they do fall under the category of copyright. Type of patent filing, I mean, the day you start planning for your patent application, when you will go to siicincubator.com/IPR, you will find a disclosure form. Provisional patent is generally being filed for students or faculty members whose research is ongoing. Suppose you have started something where the data sets are remaining, the data needs to be collected, then you have 12 more months of time. You can initially file a provisional patent. When you are done with your data, you can provide all these data sets, then we can finalize and submit a complete patent. So a time period of 12 months is given to you or to a student to submit his data sets, and the priority date is given from the day of initial provisional patent filing. While on the contrary, if a student has a complete patent, all the data sets are done, he has done every data set, and he has all the research methodology and results are available, then he can directly go for a complete patent application. So the simple administrative process is being followed, whatever be the disclosure form that we receive by 15th of any particular month. In the subsequent month, first week of every month, we do have administrative meeting which evaluates a patent application, and in batches every month these patent applications are being filed. We have come up through several instances where a student has told us that, sir, our publication would come out in next 15 days. So the only remedy for that is to file a provisional patent immediately, because the provisional patent can be filed within a time of 5 days or 6 days or 4 days. I mean, it depends on scenario as well. So I always suggest keep some time, keep a reserve of time while you are planning your publication. Do always approach IPR cell for filing your patent, and go along with the research paper, go along with the patent as well. So how much time required for grant of a patent? Yes, normally 48 months. In IIT Kanpur, we do spend more money on the patent application, and expedited early publication is being done, and the patent grants within 30 months. We have come up through several instances where the patent is being granted within less than 2 years or 24 months as well. Now, another question must be coming among the students' mind, that why only Indian patent? Why do we restrict ourselves? So filing a patent in a specific country, there is a specific reason behind filing a patent in a specific country. Like India, we are filing a patent in India just because we do see a market in India. if you do not see any market in India, then we can directly go to that country. We can file a patent in US. If I have to talk about the enforcement, there are certain countries who have a better enforcement in comparison to our country. US is a good market. They have around 3 million patents enforced. When I say enforced, that these patents have been licensed and have been, or they are being manufactured, or they are some litigation is ongoing. Yeah, yes, litigation is also a part of patent application. I mean, maybe a part of an application. So sometimes a patent application is being written to prevent someone else from infringing upon your invention. So the moment they infringe, you simply file a case against them and try to liquidate the efforts that you have done over doing the research or filing a patent application. Then we take out the damages and penalty out of them and try to compensate towards the inventor or the institution who has spent hefty amount of money over the research articles or the machinery or the consumables. So the modality of filing a patent, you can, apart from India, you can, that from the day of patent filing, you have a deadline of 12 months. Suppose you have filed a patent on 1st of January, then by 31st of December, you'll have to file a foreign patent. If this deadline surpasses, then you will never be able to file a patent in a foreign country. So, but in case if you still feel that the market jurisdiction, you are skeptical and you are unable to find out whether you can file a foreign patent or not, because there are 137 countries and filing patent in all 137 countries is going to be a costly affair. Then what we suggest is to file a PCT application. So this PCT application is basically an expansion of time window. So this 12 months time period is being expanded to 31 months by paying some extra money. So expansion of time is being given. Now you have 31 months to decide whether you want to file a patent in Japan and USA and or any of the other countries that you have. And EP route is also an exceptional route of filing where 26 member countries can be, the jurisdiction in 26 member countries can be done through a single application. So these three modalities can be utilized for filing a foreign patent application. The only criteria to infer it out whether to file a patent in XYZ country or not is to find out, do they have market? Do they have demands for such products which are based on these technologies? So these are the basic things that one researcher must keep in mind. And if they ever feel that we are from scientific background, we cannot find out these business interests or the analytics of these businesses or the landscaping, whether so and so product could be materialized or sold in so and so country, then do approach us. We have better workforce who are trained enough. We do have databases where we can find out whether the possibility of filing a patent in is required in other country or not. Now another one more important aspect of having a disclosure form is a patent search report. So a basic search can be done on patents.google.com or uspto.gov/patents. But nevertheless, these basic searches cannot be replaced by a patent search being given by an IPR professional, because we do have some expensive and very accurate databases which gather, and they have artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yes, when I talk about machine learning, we do supervise the database. We feed them with data sets. We feed them with some words, with some key features. So whatever be the abstract that students or the faculty members provide, we dissect them into 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 parts. We try to find out what are the key features, KF1 to KF10. We rank them, then we try to extract the keywords from those key features. So this extraction of key feature to keywords is the ultimate role of an IPR professional, how he does it. And over a period of time, this professional expertise gets developed in an IPR professional. It's not something that has developed, that is being developed over a period of overnight. So a basic search can always be preferred and can be done by students. How you can do it? You can simply write down a 500 word abstract or a 600 word abstract. You can dissect those keywords, initially key features into key KF1, KF2, KF3. further from those key features, you can try to find out the keywords and try to find out the synonyms, antonyms, or the jargons, the scientific jargons which are there related to those keywords, and feed those keywords in these open source databases. And if you still feel that these searches have not been done, let us know. We always do our own patent search whenever a disclosure form is being submitted at IPSL. So that's how it is being done. So if someone wants more and more detail on how these patent searches are being done, we are always available. You can just send an email and we can interact via this Zoom call, and we can figure out a possibility of having a proper patent search report. Now, another aspect of filing a patent, we always suggest students to always look at your research or your topic or the invention at what stage you are. There is a new criteria being assessed by industry and by academic institutions that is called as TRL, Technology Readiness Level. So if you see this technology readiness level, we do follow the European standards. Okay, others you'll have to wait till 5-10 minutes. I'll be coming in the Q&A session, and then I will answer all your queries. Okay, so TRL, technology readiness level, is basically about the phase in which you have developed your invention. Suppose you have observed basic principle. That means you are at TRL 1, and if you have fabricated and the POC is completely done by you, then you are at TRL 4. And if you were to ask me, sir, at what stage industry will be interested in taking our invention out? So industry wants a technology which is at TRL 6. Industry, again and again, through our experiences and through our interaction at different industry meets, different technology innovation fairs, and interaction with MNCs, they are preferring and they want a technology which is at least at a TRL 6. So that means you have done the standardization, you have done the validation part, and your technology, the only remaining part is the better fabrication or the aesthetics improvement. So because industry does not want to spend time and money on more and more development or the R&D part of the invention, they want something which could easily be materialized and could easily be brought into the market. So here comes as the case where TRL 6 or TRL 5 could easily be taken licensed to industry partner. If you still feel you have the bandwidth, you have the capacity, and job is not piece of your cake, then you can take up the call. You can open your own startup incubation innovation center. First is always available for you. You can open your startup company, a private limited company. You can explore the possibility of having an invention where you can sell this, or you can go through the serial entrepreneurship way. Yes, there are a lot of students who have done it in the past. They have decided that they will never ever go to the manufacturing phase. They want themselves to be R&D driven or an IP driven company. They just want to develop a product, and they want some bigger company or MNC company to take it up and manufacture at large scale, because they know there's expertise. I mean, an R&D person, it's not necessary that all the time he must have having an expertise of going through the manufacturing phase as well. So there are an option of having a TRL 1 to TRL 9. Then you can go through a serial entrepreneurship or a IP transfer or a material transfer or a prototype transfer. So all these options are available. So whenever you fill your disclosure form, do look at the aspect of TRL, at what stage you are, what industry demands, what are the counterparts doing, are there products out there who have better TRL level when they were developed. So all these questions you must ask yourself, or to your guide, or take suggestion from your guide, and we are always available to help you out in figuring out how we can transition from TRL 4 to TRL 5 or to TRL 6. So this is all about TRL levels. This is one of the inventions by IIT Kanpur. A patent application has been filed, and so I don't know why this is. Sorry, there was some issue with the system. That's why this has happened. And then, so this was all about the technology readiness level. I hope my screen is visible to all. Uh, so this is about
It's
TRL.
visible now.
So TRL level, and you can infer out this is another invention from IIT Kanpur, where a cell, the quality of cell or the quality of red blood cells flowing throughout your body can be assessed. So genetic diseases are a problem. So someone invented a machine where the hemoglobin level or the heme or the RBC, the quality of RBC and the quality of RBC both can be assessed by a single drop of blood. So, I mean, these kind of inventions which are being developed at such sophistication level, at such high-end technology level that are being developed within the institute. So, I expect you have the stamina, you have the capacity, you can go ahead with this, and you can find out. These are some of the accomplishments that IIT Kanpur has done it. Yes, we have filed not 650, it's 670 today. Last year, we were awarded STAM Impact Award 2019 for Best Tech Transfer activities in the country, and we have won 5 gold medals and 2 silver medals for those inventions which were developed by students from PhD and MTech. So this year also I expect more and more participation from students like you. And there are options in case if you feel that you want to go ahead from TRL4 to TRL6 and you do not have the bandwidth or the fund, then please approach us. We do have the option. The incubation center has several funding options, the grant option and fellowship options for graduating students, wherein you can find out the possibility of translating your research into a spin out or IP driven company, or if you want to license this invention. So it all starts with a disclosure form. I'm going to write the link of SIIC where you will find a disclosure form, and you can simply fill it, take help from your guide. And if you still feel you need our help, we are always available. That's all from my side. I'm open for question answers. I guess Shruti can facilitate the question answers if she wants.
Okay, so the first question is from Soumya Jha. She's mentioning that we can, as you mentioned, we cannot file a patent for enhancing the efficacy of a technology. Would this not come under the purview of design patent?
Okay. Okay, so this question, if I had to take it the other way around, look, efficacy comes as a matter of functionality part, not the aesthetics. So design registration always comes under the purview of aesthetics. So if you see the apparels which are being provided by these designers, the designer apparels do under the category of design registration, but they do not fall under the category of patent. Now, if I have to talk about the materialistic properties, if you see 3M has developed a material where a material can easily be used on the glasses, eyeglasses, and it will reflect the glare that comes from the light source. Okay, so this is the materialistic property. So functionality is part and parcel of a patent, while aesthetics is part and parcel of a design registration. Shruti, you are on mute.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, Shikhar sir, you can ask your question.
Hello, Ravi.
Yeah, hello.
Wonderful talk. You covered it very well, and thank you, Shruti, for organizing this. So I have a couple of questions. Some of them I will catch up with you later on. But one is, I think, also relevant for students that I want to know. So let's say there is a patent somebody has filed in US, and there's an interesting technology. If they have just filed it in US, can a separate patent based on or some improvement on that design could be filed on India, or where there'll be a clash? Like when you're filing a patent in India, can we defend it all across the world, or is it like every country you will have to file separately?
Okay, so sir, when you say someone has filed the patent in US, so does the same person is going to file the patent in India? Was it your question? Okay, Dr. Shikhar, I assume, yes, you are on mute. You are on mute.
Shikhar sir, please unmute.
Let me do that for you. You'll have to, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Host was not allowing me to say anything.
Yeah.
So, no, my question is different. Let's say John Eric, some guy patented something in US,
Okay.
and he, as you said, that he did not file a follow-up patent in the country within next 12 months or so. Then the same idea could be patented somebody sitting in India, or can that technology be used?
No, sir. Actually, that technology can be used in India because in India, if there is no patent, then anyone can use it. But in USA, if he has the deadline has surpassed, then there is no option of filing a patent in India. While the second part of your earlier question was whether an improvement can be done. Sir, for an improvement of an existing product or process, the Patent Act clearly says it cannot be done. But if there is an option of exploring altogether different, where I mean the materials are the same, but the application part has been enhanced in such a way where the claim part is not infringing the US patent. Are you getting? The main body of a patent application is the claim part. So if the claims are not infringing, overlapping upon each other, then the patent application can again be filed. I mean, not again, but can be filed in India.
I have just one follow-up question. So, does that mean, so just to clarify, that technology, if somebody has not filed it in India, that existing technology can be used people here?
Yes. If there is no
Okay.
patent, then there is no restriction on usage of a patent in a specific jurisdiction.
Okay, so Indian people could use American patent.
Yes, yes,
Okay, and second thing is, even if somebody has filed a patent, let's say in India, and I'm sitting in India, that idea could be used for publication and research purposes to maybe come up with some other design or some other application.
yes, yes, yes,
Paper
yes,
publication is not an issue with any
yes.
patent.
Even the section 10 of the patent, the legislation per se throughout the world across the globe is common. I mean, no one can stop an academician or researcher from doing a research over an invention which has been filed as a patent by some other body, someone else. Suppose 3M or some other agency has filed a patent in material sciences. Then a faculty member or researcher from IIT Kanpur can easily do the research and academic purposes. So there is no restriction on the academics and research purposes of an invention. Even section 10 clearly says there is no restriction by a patent holder or a patent applicant from stopping someone else from doing an academic research or a simple research over an invention until
Okay.
unless it is a commercial purpose.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That answered my question.
Thank you, sir. Then the next question is from Adarsh Kumar. Can I file a provisional patent when I already use design in research article, but this article has not published and still in reviewer's end?
Okay. So, Adarsh, please do approach us. It is a high time for us. And I see this is a very sensational time for you as well, because the publication could come out at any moment of time. So the same design, if it comes out in the public domain, cannot be used as a patent because it will become a part of your prior art for the patent application. But if it hasn't been in the public domain, then what I would suggest you to please go through the disclosure form, fill it, approach us, file a patent application for your invention.
Okay. So the next question is by Debanjan Datta. Does the patent owner needs to pay after a certain interval of time to keep his patent identity?
Yes. From the third year onwards, there is a annuity fee, the patent maintenance fee, the technical jargon is annuity. So it needs to be paid. But since IIT Kanpur is the applicant and owner of the patent, then the inventors do not have to think from that perspective. IIT Kanpur will take care of it. Yes, but individual inventors do have to take care of their patents.
The next question is from Sovic. If someone work on any company funding project, then can he patent his innovation other than that particular company?
Yes, actually, if there's a funded project, there are a lot of options available for these clauses are quite clear. If you go through the clauses of MOU or the agreement which was signed initially at the time of funding the project, it clearly mentions what is a foreground IP, what is a background IP, who will own the foreground IP, who will own the background IP, what will happen to the logical conclusion towards the licensing of that invention. So again, you'll have to get back to the agreement clause or the MOU clause of the so and so funding agency. Generally, if it is a sponsored project, sponsored agencies do not provide the privilege of taking away the IP. But in case of projects, research projects do provide a privilege to the faculty members or to the researchers to file up IPR in the name of the institution.
So the next question is from Akhil. How is a trade secret protected? What if a person takes my trade secret and files a patent? How should I be able to protect my trade secret?
Look, Akhil, a secret is a secret. So that's how it is called as trade secret. So if you are able to keep it as a secret, it's all about on your capability. So if I were to give you a very prime example, Coca-Cola, no one knows the formulation or the components, the entire what is inside Coca-Cola. So there are 4 formulations separate: Formula A, Formula B, Formula C, Formula D. So these formulas, different ABCD formulas, come from different countries. So Formula A is being generated in US, B in Europe somewhere, C in India, D somewhere else. So the top end executives, no one knows what is, only one executive knows what is there in Formula A. So there are certain restrictions, like all these top end executives cannot travel in a single plane or cannot be in a single country at a single given point of time. So if you could maintain that level of secrecy, I would suggest you to keep it as a secret or a trade secret. But if you do have the chance to file a patent application, then why take chances? Go ahead and file a patent.
So I hope his question is answered now. The next question is from Ravi Nigam. Can idea related to e-governance be protected as IPR? What help SIIC provides?
Okay. So this idea on e-governance, this process does not directly fall under the category of patents, but there are options of copyright. And if it has some aesthetics, we can figure out the possibility of a design as well. And if you are a PhD students, do approach us. My email ID is rpande. I'll be writing the same in the chat box, or you will get it from departmental websites as well. Do send me an email. We will take care of your disclosure form. We will file it as a design or file it as a copyright in case if it suits that.
The next question is from Deepak Kumar Singh. Does it mean developing new modification in 3D printing will never get a patent, as only change in machine part is possible?
I would not agree to you when you say that modifying a changes which is leading to a mere admixturing, then it is a no-no. If there is a possibility of a complete enhancement of the properties of the invention, then it can be filed as a patent. There is no restriction that you have found out a wire where the properties of that 3D printing wire doesn't get melted at so and so temperature, but at 100 degrees Celsius doesn't melt, but at 101 it gives or provides some metallistic desired properties. So why not? It can be filed as a patent.
Okay, so the next question is from Ariel Rupain. What happens to a patent filed by a company under incubation? Does it have claim as per share ratio? Please take SIIC itself and company growing there as example.
Okay. What happens to a patent filed by? Okay, Rupin, do send me an email. As per the government of India, the patent applications for startups is completely reimbursed. You don't have to pay anything at all. So there is a scheme by government of India called as DPIT. DIPP recognized startup companies under the DPIT route are being reimbursed 80% of the official filing fees, so the remaining 20% only cost $400. And for the professional charges of a patent attorney, the government reimburses 25,000 directly to that account of patent attorney. So what you need to do, go to the website of DPIT India, get yourself registered as a startup recognition certificate. And with that, you won't have to pay anything at all. If you need further help, just ping me a mail and I will connect you with the facilitator. All your fees will get reimbursed.
Ravi Nigam is asking, what is the fees?
The fees varies a lot. If I have to tell you about the fees of IIT Kanpur, the fee for IIT Kanpur or a larger institution per se is 5 times the fee that a normal person pays or a natural person pays. Suppose I imagine myself or imagine yourself not being a student, not being an employee. If you want to file a patent, it would cost only 1600 rupees as an initial fee, as a Form 1 fees. But on the contrary, if IIT Kanpur files a patent application, the initial fees is 8,000 rupees. Then there are other forms. So clubbing all together the form fees and the professional charges for the lawyer who filed the patent, and upfront fees comes out to be 70,000 or 80,000 for a patent application. Over the sustained, over the complete period of time, that is from the day one of patent filing to maintenance till 20th year, the overall cost of patent filing is 3.5 lakh rupees. While in the case of a startup, the government reimburses A to Z of fees. But for a natural person, it costs somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000. So the fee breakup is available on ipindia.nic.in. You can go through it. You can find out the forms, fees, breakup. Everything is available online.
Okay, so I think there are no more questions. Does anyone has any other question? They can raise your hand or type in the chat box.
We are running accurately with the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
I think they are all their queries are solved by now, and it was really a very informative session. And we really thank you for sparing your time. And for any other queries, I think students can approach you directly.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this talk.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
associating with MA at ITK.
Thank you.
Thank you.